Hi viewers, my name is Nayak. My life changed when I met a cute little angel in the train. I will guarantee even your life will change financially after watching this heart-touching real-life story. After watching this video, if it really touches your heart, then only subscribe to my channel to get updates on inspiring and motivational videos. This story takes place in the year 2005 when my friend and I were traveling by train from Mysore to Bangalore. We boarded the train at 9 p.m. and I got a seat next to the window. Across from me sat a family consisting of a husband, wife, and their adorable 6-year-old daughter. The little girl had a charming smile that instantly brightened our mood. She smiled at us and asked for our names. Excitedly, we introduced ourselves as Nayak and Yuva Kumar. The little girl then asked if we wanted to know her name. We were thrilled and eagerly asked her to tell us. In a cute voice, little girl said we had to guess her name and gave us a clue. She said that if we knew Lord Krishna, we would know her name. Yuva Kumar guessed that her name was Radha, but little girl shook her head and said no. Then I guessed that her name was Yashoda, and she smiled at me, confirming that I was correct. Yashoda said, "Nayak uncle, you are correct," and gave me a chocolate as a reward. For the next hour, we enjoyed talking and playing with Yashoda. She was such a delightful little girl. However, at 10:05 p.m., I noticed that Yashoda's mother was extremely upset with tears streaming down her face. Her husband tried to console her, but she continued to cry while looking at Yashoda. At 10:15 p.m., while playing with me, Yashoda fell asleep on my lap. But her parents remained distressed, and her mother could not stop crying. Overwhelmed with concern, I could not contain my emotions and asked Yashoda's father what was wrong. I wanted to know why they were so upset and in tears. Yashoda's father nodded and said, "No, nothing, sir." My friend Yuva Kumar urged him to share their problem so that we could help or support them. Finally, with tears in his eyes, Yashoda's father revealed that their daughter was seriously ill and would not survive for long. Shocked, we asked why. He explained that Yashoda was born with a hole in her heart, and they had been seeking treatment for her regularly. The doctors had said that once she turned 5, they could perform surgery, but they did not have enough money for the operation. They had even accumulated debts and were unable to sell their ancestral property in Mysore to cover the expenses. The property was co-owned by Yashoda's father and his 2 brothers, who refused to sell it. The property was co-owned by Yashoda's father and his 2 brothers, who refused to sell it. Despite understanding the dire situation, they were only willing to pay a small amount, which was half of the property's value. Yashoda's father pleaded with them to give him 70% of his share, but they declined. Desperate and uncertain, they did not know what to do. When I asked how much money they needed for the surgery, Yashoda's father said they required 8 lakhs rupees, approximately $10,000. If he received 70% of his share from the property, leaving a shortfall of approximately 1,50,000 rupees, that means approximately $2,000. Moreover, the surgery had to be done within 2 months. My friend and I reassured Yashoda's parents that they should not worry and that we would raise donations from our team and acquaintances to gather the remaining 1,50,000 rupees, that means approximately $2,000. Overwhelmed by our words, Yashoda's mother fell to her knees, tearfully expressing her gratitude. We took their address and contact number, and they also took ours. It was around 11:30 p.m. and we were nearing Bangalore. At that moment, Yashoda woke up from her sleep and her father lifted her onto his shoulders. Yashoda began crying as we were about to leave the train at the station. She called out loudly, "Nayak and Yuva Kumar, please don't forget me. You must come to my home regularly to play with me, and I will give you more chocolate." Those words pierced our hearts, and with tears streaming down our faces, we bid Yashoda and her family farewell. We were deeply moved by the emotional connection we had formed in such a short time. Dear viewers, I am sure you can understand how heart-wrenching this story is. If you want to find out what happens next, stay tuned, where the story takes an even more emotional turn. Next, I will reveal how we managed to raise the funds for Yashoda's surgery and the challenges we faced along the way. It's a tale of compassion, determination, and the power of community. Get ready for an emotional roller coaster as we continue this inspiring journey. The next day, we began our mission to collect donations from our co-workers, vendors, friends, and relatives. We focused all our efforts on gathering the funds needed for Yashoda's surgery. On the third day, we called Yashoda's father to inquire about her health condition. We even had the opportunity to speak to Yashoda on the phone for 20 minutes. We were determined and forgot about our daily business commitments, dedicating ourselves entirely to this cause. After 3 weeks of relentless efforts, we were successful in raising the committed amount. Without wasting any time, we immediately called Yashoda's father to share the good news. However, someone from their neighborhood answered the phone and informed us that Yashoda's father could not speak at that moment because his daughter Yashoda had passed away the day before. Those words struck us like a thunderbolt. We were speechless and shocked. All we could do was imagine Yashoda's face and remember her infectious smile. Dear viewers, this incident occurred when I was only 27 years old, and it taught me the true value and importance of money. I realized the importance of spending money wisely and saving as much as possible. Life can present such situations to anyone, be it your parents, children, or even yourself. From that point on, after that incident, I completely revamped my approach to saving money. Previously, I would spend first and save whatever remained from my monthly income. However, this experience made me realize the importance of prioritizing savings. So, I made a significant change in my financial strategy. Now, I diligently set aside 30% of my monthly earnings as savings right from the beginning. This ensured that I had a dedicated portion of my income allocated for the future. The remaining amount was then utilized for my day-to-day expenses and livelihood. And if, by the end of the month, there was anything left over, I would save that as well. This shift in my saving habits has brought about a tremendous positive impact on my financial well-being. It has provided me with a sense of security and stability for any unforeseen circumstances that may arise. I highly encourage everyone to adopt a similar approach and prioritize saving for a brighter and more secure future. Using this formula, I am now 45 years old, leading a fulfilling life with my family. I can provide the best life for my wife and offer my children the best education. I am grateful to my little angel, Yashoda, for teaching me the value and importance of money. I would like to encourage you to thank Yashoda as well, now that you have heard her story on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel to receive notifications whenever I upload motivational and inspiring stories or real-life experiences. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and together, let's learn from these stories and make a positive impact on our lives. Finally, I would like to conclude, money is not everything in life, but money is important for life.